I'm on mute. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Overnight Keefy here. Oh, man. Had a hard time sleeping last night. Wired tonight. Going late overnight, but we're getting it done. This is the weekly ritual. It's called Rock and Metal News Show. Coming at you every week, sometime, on time, occasionally. And yeah, we are here doing the thing. And just making sure it's working right. If you're up late, say hey, jump on, comment, be part of this thing. If not, catch it on the replay. This show is also a podcast every week, 24/7, 365, independent rock and metal news journalism. Really difficult to pull off in this day and age. We've been seeing some of our peers go by the wayside or at least radically weakened to the point where, I don't know, will be around. I told somebody today I'm not going to stop, but I think if you have less choices from where you get your information from, as the Beastie Boys once said, you think you confront when revelation comes, and you can't. What's up, Drew Fisher, and anybody else watching on the tube of you? Thanks for being here. Not sure why this thing is not cooperating. Cooperate. Wacky. All right. There we go. All right, cool. Doing all the things. Let's do this thing. Man, halfway through August, lots to get through in the show, and the show this week. Once again, seltzer for me. Too late for a beer. I have stuff to do tomorrow. As usual, we start the show with the announcements, and it's been quite a time. So I want to make sure we're keeping you informed. Once again, I got married 3 weeks ago. Really awesome. I actually got this photo is now framed and about to be hung up in my home. That's how awesome it is. My wife's amazing. She'll probably tune into this at a later time because she's like a normal human being asleep while I am prowling the night. But yeah, if anybody's ever told you get married rules, do that. Do the thing. It's rad. We hit a milestone on the Ghost Cult. YouTube's almost 7,000 subs, over 1 million views lifetime in our history, but we got 3,500 uploads under our belt. That is no small feat. And just got to shout out my partner, Omar Cordy, here at Ghost Cult for all his hard work across all these fields. Slam Apocalypse is here. Ash is here. What up, what up? But yeah, just knocking off milestones, knocking them down. Let's see. We just closed our poll on our album of the month for August, and it's Fuming Mouth's recent album, The Ringing Bell. Do check that out if you get a chance. Definitely worth your time. A brutal, awesome album out on Triple B Records, which is normally not mostly known for death metal, mostly known for hardcore, but what a killer band they are. Drop the tip menu for you guys over on the tube of you. Let's see. Okay. This is really sad. Dom Lawson, who has been one of the deans of metal journalism in his career. You probably have read him if you're over in the UK. You've maybe seen his work in Metal Hammer. If you are a Blabbermouth reader, you've seen Dom's reviews and interviews there. He had a heart attack while covering Bloodstock Open Air, a festival we cover every year, and we covered this year. There's a GoFundMe. Link is in our bio to support Dom and help him out. Because that shit sucks. He had a heart attack. So just a little bit older than me. pretty damn scary, I gotta say. I'm on a bit of a health journey myself. I'm not going to talk too much about it tonight, but yeah. This is really sad. Chester Mazur, who's a New York City rock musician, died in a hit and run in Hell's Kitchen, hit by a USPS truck. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Also, Ben Jones, aka Cooter from the Dukes of Hazzard, passed away this week. Very sad there. Super sad. Appreciate everybody who's watching. Andrea, Tina, Drummer Doug, 2112, Big Shaq. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Much appreciated. Let's see. Reggie Bannister, horror movie actor, passed away at 80 years old this week. You probably know him best from the movie Phantasm. Jill Janis passed away 10 years ago today. Super sad. This is an awesome photo shared with me tonight by Danny Nichols, works with Ghost Cult sometimes. Danny himself is a musician. Jill was just incredible. You know her best from Huntress. She was a DJ, a really phenomenal singer and personality in metal. Super sad. Oh, Plane Ride is here. What's up, Plane Ride? Good to see you. Janie Lane died 10 years ago. Warrant, much maligned by a lot of underground metal fans, but, very sad to have lost his life. I'm sorry, 15 years ago. Gosh, I thought it was 10. 15 years ago. Also, Sophie Lancaster. Speaking of Bloodstock Open Air, Sophie has a whole stage dedicated to them. Also passed away too soon. Robin Williams passed away this week, a few years back. Super sad. Super sad. Hey, Dev is here. What's up, brother? I got a mention coming up for you in a little bit. But yeah, rip Sophie Lancaster, rip Williams, and his many, many characters and incredible acting roles he gave us. Man, if you got a favorite Robin Williams movie or TV show, let me know. TV appearance. What else? Oh, blank slide there. A couple of birthday shout-outs. Ben Gibbard of the Postal Service and Death Cab for Cutie celebrated a birthday this week. Ricky Rocket of Poison celebrated a birthday this week. Personal fan here, fanboy moment. Gillian Anderson, best known for the X-Files and Hannibal and The Fall. Incredible actress. She turned 58 this week. I love this photo shared by Robert Patrick. Also with Annabeth Gish, former X-Files. X-Files getting a reboot soon. Interested to see if Duchovny and Anderson return for the X-Files reboot. We shall see. Super sad. British actress Lucy Davis has stage 4 cancer. She was in Shaun of the Dead. Really great, really funny, very sad. Mrs. Doubtfire for Devin, he says. Incredible. And I live in San Francisco, so a lot of Mrs. Doubtfire lore happens in San Francisco. You can still visit the house that the movie takes place in. Had Ben Jones there with Flash. Reggie Bannister. In some good news, Yolanda Saldivar. Maybe you are not familiar with that name if you're a rock and metal fan, but you've seen me wear my Selena shirt. And Yolanda murdered Selena, and she was denied parole. Fuck that puta. So I'm pretty excited about that. And good news. Sometimes justice is served. Celebrating some metal history and anniversaries, Armored Saint dropped their debut EP 42 years ago. Failure dropped this incredible alternative rock album, Fantastic Planet. I'm a huge fan. Failure should have been as big as like Jane's Addiction or Tool, but just didn't get there. Drugs and other things cost the band their moment to shine in the spotlight, but I'm a huge Failure fan. They have a new album out for 2026, one of my favorite albums of the year so far. two anniversaries of festivals this weekend. The original Woodstock 69 took place this weekend in upstate New York, technically Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. Woodstock 94, which I attended. I'm not old enough to have seen the first one. I wasn't born for a few more years, but I went to Woodstock 94. Incredible time. There are YouTube videos that I did last summer celebrating the anniversaries of both Woodstock 94 and Woodstock 99 and addressing all the pluses and the minuses with set list breakdowns and everything. If you want, I can link those also in the comments. 35 years of Metallica's Black Album this week. I did a live stream last night about it. I feel like it's you probably hate it too much. You might love it too much, but it's definitely better than you remember for the most part. Death Leprosy, another classic album this week. Also, Machine Head's debut, Burn My Eyes, was released 32 years ago. Still a banger. Huge Machine Head fan here. The Moscow Music Peace Festival, featuring Bon Jovi, Scorpions, Motley Crue, Ozzy, Cinderella, Gorky Park, and Skid Row. You might have seen this on MTV. If you saw the Motley Crue or Ozzy behind the music, this is talked about how Motley Crue was trying to be sober because their manager needed to stay sober. This was like part of a plea deal he made for drug possession, which he took the fall for drugs owned by members of Crew, which is insane. And of course, Ozzy is just Ozzying in 1989 like crazy, and Skid Row and Scorpions and Cinderella just going nuts. Also in 2008, Ozfest took place in England, co-headlined by Metallica and Texas. Metallica, England was the next year. Ozzy, Metallica co-headlining, Serge Tankian solo, Hell Yeah, Jonathan Davis solo, Cavalera Conspiracy. I think that was one of their first tours. Shadows Fall, Apocalyptica, In This Moment, Seven Dust, Devil Driver, Kingdom of Sorrow, Soylent Green, Witchcraft, and Goat War. Sword, Drowning Pool, Rigor Mortis, Rest in Power, Bruce. Within Chaos, I don't remember them, and the Destro, I don't remember them either. Catriona Rose is here. What up, what up, what up? Thanks for being here late night, overnight, talking METAL with you. Me here, you there. Also, this week in history, Ozfest 2004, another Ozfest I attended. Ozzy also performing over Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Slayer, Dimmu Borgir, Superjoint Rituals, at Wild BLS, Slipknot headlining the second stage. They were just about to become a headliner. Really crazy shit. Hatebreed, Lamb of God, Atreyu, Every Time I Die, Lacuna Coil, and more. Super interesting. OTEP, I think that was their first tour ever, was that Ozfest. Also this week in history was the Thrash of the Titans benefit show to raise money for Chuck Billy, who had cancer, headlined by Anthrax, Legacy, which is basically Testament, SOD, Death Angel, Exodus, Returned, Laws Rocket, Heathen, Forbidden Evil, Violence, Sadist, MOD, and many special guests. This show was kind of like the first show back for Death Angel in over 10 years. Forbidden's return to the stage, Heathen's come back in a lot of ways, Anthrax, Violence, Sadist, a lot of these bands came back for the first time at this time. Really cool. Really cool. Matty Groves 1 is here. What's up, Matty Groves? All right. Yeah, just a reminder, we are not corporate backed. We do get some advertising money and affiliate money. But if you're ever interested in supporting us, you can either buy a super thanks or a super chat or a super like on YouTube, where we do the best. I'm not a veteran, but my dad was an Army veteran. Thanks, J Love. Appreciate you. Richie Blackmore. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a little bit, man. 53 years old, and I can say that I'm a little bit jaded by music history and music events and the world, but like it was really great to see Richie get on stage for probably the final time with Deep Purple. None of these guys are getting any younger. They're all pushing 80. Anyway, there's our Cash App. If you feel tipsy, feel free to drop us a tip or just check us out. Give us a like and a follow or subscribe. I go back and follow everyone. Spend about 10 minutes after every live stream, and I download some clips, and I go and follow everyone who followed the stream, which I appreciate. We are trying to build a cool heavy metal community, especially after Brooklyn Vegan, Revolver, all these terrible things have happened the last couple of weeks. Really bummer. A real bummer. But anyway, features this week. I did a live stream last night, and you can now check it out on our YouTube or also our podcast. Why you are wrong about the Black Album. Why you're wrong. The Black Album's still awesome. Did Metallica change? Completely. Is it thrash? Barely. But it's still pretty badass. There's a lot of greatness on the Black Album, a lot of stuff to appreciate and love. If you hate the Black Album or you felt it was a terrible move by them, you hate Nothing Else Matters, and you hate Unforgiven, it's too weird for you, too stupid for you, I get it. But, Metallica went from being the leaders of an underground subgenre to being the biggest band in the world in our lifetime. And they really have never looked back. And so I broke it down, not just sales and numbers, because that's boring. I went track by track to analyze the record for you. Also, my personal recollections of hearing the Black Album for the first time. It was a giant listening event in New York City at Madison Square Garden. 18,000 fans just come into the garden to listen to an album together. It was an incredible and cathartic experience, to be honest with you. Check that podcast out, or that replay of our video on the channel. New interviews this week. Dave Bushmeyer of Spread the Disease. This band was defunct for 25, 30 years. They just put out a baller new album. Go check it out. Our man Chris Elliott interviewed them. Also, I just mentioned Fuming Mouth at the top of the show, New England's own. We have a brand new interview with Mark of Fuming Mouth. Absolutely killer. Thanks again, Alejandro, for that Richie Blackmore comment. I will get to Richie in a little bit in the main news area. Other recent big interviews: Matt Harvey of Left to Die, the big death tribute. Matt is also of Gruesome and Exhumed and a bunch of other bands. Really killer. I had a really great interview with Joseph from Junius, the post-metal band. I've been following them since the beginning of my journalistic career. Really great band from back when I lived in Boston. Phenomenal. My other podcast that is not this show is the Glacially Musical Podcast. We just took a week off from our current series on Guns N' Roses, and we did a Chaser episode. We do the beer and then the Chaser, like the shot. And we talked about our favorite live albums of all time. Iron Maiden, Live After Death, Metallica, Live Shit, Venge and Purge, which I think is on the couch behind me. And for Nick, the host, Kiss, Unplugged. Really cool, really deep dive on all those records. Really fun. Really fun. Super fun. Just a reminder, you saw the Pentagram documentary is really weird. Not a Pentagram fan, gotta be honest with you. I know people, Pentagram had like a huge cultural moment because of TikTok and social media. I think Bobby is a terrible fucking person. And I really, not saying that I haven't supported bands with terrible people or people can change or they can't change, but I just have no interest in that band anymore. But yeah, Last Days Here, is that the documentary? Really eye-opening. A really interesting character. I'm not one of these people that thinks that they're the American Black Sabbath. I would say The Obsessed is the American Black Sabbath before Pentagram. Trouble is the American Black Sabbath. Even COC, to an extent, is more like Black Sabbath than Pentagram. But that's just me. That's just me. But anyway, if you have a band or a brand or a store or a label, your own independent label, and you want to get a shout out from us in our music video, our video interviews, and then we consequently tag bands and underground people on our socials. Hit us up, subscribe to us, and screenshot it and send it to me. And if you stay sub to us, I will go and we will put you in the queue to give you some love on whatever you've got. Nitrous 13, thanks for following. I will follow you back right after this is over if I'm not already following you. This meme killed me. David Bowie moves to West Berlin and with his old friend Iggy Pops and hope they will escape the spotlight and reduce their drug use. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce my drug use by moving to Drug City with my closest personal friend, Mr. Drugs. Fucking not making fun of people who are on drugs, but wow. All right, time for the news rundown. I'm gonna embiggen myself a little bit here. Hey, what's up? If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see my Nick Cage pillow over my shoulder. Phenomenal stuff. 2:10 a.m. on the West Coast. Why am I still up? Anyway, let's get through the rest of this show. We always start the news rundown with Metal Festival. Soldiers of Steel Festival is taking place in Seattle this weekend. Really cool to see Sanctuary back with Joseph Michael from Witherfall stepping in for Waraldane, Rest in Power, Liege Lord, and a bunch of other killer bands taking place all weekend in Seattle at the Substation venue. I have never been to Seattle. I've been to Portland, and I need to get up to Seattle and spend a weekend there. Record shop and do all the things. Dying to go. Arctangent Festival is next week. Ghost Cult is approved, and we are covering that. Stay tuned for coverage of that festival. Very excited about this. Louder Than Life announced their running order and their schedules are out. You can hit that up at our website or their socials. Levitation Festival also announced their running order. Levitation is in Austin, Texas, and they just changed back. Their original format was like a bunch of little shows all happening at once, kind of like South by Southwest, instead of like a big festival at one place with a few stages. Now it's really curated little shows for a weekend, a long weekend. So that is September 9th to the 13th. And yeah, it looks amazing. Basket's here. What's up? Appreciate you all. Appreciate anybody hanging out with us this late at night. Okay, Riot Fest, we told you about their schedule running order last weekend. They have announced their sideshows, including a special sideshow from William Shatner's metal project. We're waiting for this Bill Shatner experience. Should be a lot of fun. We always cover Riot Fest, hoping to cover it again. And also Aftershock is coming up right after that. I'm still on the fence if I'm up to doing it, but I would like to. Ripple Fest, Ripple Music is one of my favorite labels for stoner doom, underground metal, heavy metal. We've covered a lot of their Ripple Fest events, and they have their second annual Ripple Fest Mexico just got announced. Bluefinch Films is here. What's up, Bluefinch Films? Hanging out late. Early where you are, late where I am. Curiel is here. Wade, Levi, Lena, Naomi, and Al. What's up, all of you? Thanks for being here. Let's see, what else are we talking about? Global Citizen Festival, not normally something we cover. We went a few times to support like Metallica and things. I see that they have Lenny Kravitz and Lainey Wilson and Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean. Could be fun. It's for a good cause, hosted by Hugh Jackman. The Queen drummer, yep, his solo album is coming out, Roger Taylor. I think Queen is probably done. Brian May has had a lot of health issues. I'm not rooting against him. I loved Adam Lambert with Queen. You know, I like Paul Rogers. I always thought, honestly, Bad Company is like the Hall of Very Good, not the Hall of Fame quality. They did get in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, Roger has always been a tremendous talent. I just think the window is closing for a lot of these bands that are like 80 years old, or almost 80 years old. So just keep that in mind. If you love a band and they're coming around, chances are the tickets are cheap because people are not really going as much to concerts anymore. It's this Blue Dot fever is gripping the nation, at least here in the U.S. But I'm rooting for Roger. He's a great singer, great drummer. Dave Grohl called Roger Taylor the best drummer in history, in rock history. It's quite a thing to say. Dave Grohl is no slouch. He's a pretty great drummer himself. Dimmu Borgir is on tour right now in the USA with Suffocation and Halder. Here's our own Omar Cordy. He took in the show last weekend, hanging out with the now no more dreadlocks, no more dreads in the band. Terrence Hobbs, the great Terrence Hobbs, guitar player of Suffocation. But Dimmu, very excited about that. Hope they come back again. Their new album, Grand Serpent Rising. It's amazing. Tomahawk and Melvin's tour dates continue. They are in San Francisco tonight. I cannot be there because I live a little too far out of town now since I moved and got married. But hopefully they come back next year. I also think Mr. Bungle has a record in the can. Hey, JJ Otita, thank you for liking the live. And if you follow and subscribe to us, I will follow you back when I get off this thing. Left to Die, we talked about our recent interview with Matt Harvey. They're on tour right now in Europe, and they've announced some further tour dates of Mexico and South America and Central America later this year. One of my personal favorite punk bands of all time, The Challenge from Brooklyn, is doing a East Coast and Midwest tour next month. Very excited for that. I think they have a new album that came out early in the year, so that's kind of cool. With the upcoming Iron Maiden tour, they have announced these Eddie's Dive Bar bar pop-ups. Guns N' Roses has a pop-up shop. AC/DC has a pop-up shop, which I went to. You can check it out on our socials. But Eddie is going to do a dive bar, so that looks really fun. Spine Shank and Head PE are on tour right now. They booked additional tour dates for later in the year as well. Hippie Death Cult, last week we told you they signed to Blacklight Media, which is a subsidiary of Metal Blade. I'm a huge fan of Hippie Death Cult. They just announced a bunch of tour dates, kicking off tonight, so very excited for them. The Rasmus is the great rock band from Helsinki, kind of pop rock. I think they were on Eurovision. They have announced a huge tour of the US that's kicking off soon. Quicksand is currently on tour with Bane, and they announced additional tour dates of Western Canada with Fucked Up. Fucked Up is one of the coolest bands out there, and we're big Quicksand fans. New album out now. Eagles have announced additional tour dates for the Sphere. I think they're going to play the Sphere in the window between Metallica in October October, November, December, a little bit of a break, January, Eagles, back to Metallica, February, March, April. So I'm still hopeful Metallica will do some additional touring or at least put out a new album. Hey, Chucky Brown, what up, brother? Good to see you. Fritzy and Fulci is Fabio Frizzi's Fulci project is coming on tour soon. Love to check that out. Seen them before. Forbidden, which has a new album coming out soon on Black to Black Records, has announced a killer tour. This looks amazing. Cancel Rat dropped a new music video, and they've announced their biggest headline tour dates ever, which is amazing. Dead Eyes announced some tour dates coming up soon. Kind of fun, hardcore band. Manson and Rob Zombie tour is coming up soon with Orgy and The Who. Not The Who, the classic rock band, the HU Mongolian metal band. Manson's new album's out today. I'm going to give it a listen this weekend. Maybe I'll review it soon, next week on the channel. Once again, the Bo Looters tribute show is in Chicago in a few weeks. I love I'm not a big AI fan, but I love these Mitch McConnell memes the last few weeks. So here's Mitch McConnell as Eddie Vedder. I'm still alive. What a farce. What a farce politically this whole country is. Anyway, once again, tip menu. If you're feeling tipsy, drop us a tip. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. we're trying to build an independent community of metalheads. And like I said, with Pitchfork still being around, Brooklyn Vegan getting shut down or replaced with AI, Revolver, everybody getting laid off. Really dreadful, 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 dreadful. So any support you give us is appreciated. And speaking of support, if you want to smell good and look good like me, you want to get Fable Beard products. We got a link in our link tree in our descriptions. If you make an order from Fable Beard, basically Dungeons and Dragons deodorant, basically smells and scents based on role-playing characters. And I mean, you know, I feel good, I look good, I smell good. Fable Beard, this is the Marksman. It's amazing. I'm wearing it right now. I'm not sweating at all, despite the California heat. Mother of Graves is here. What's up? What's up? But yeah, if you order Fable Beard products from our link, you get $10 off, and we get free merch. So killer. We're also part of the Lamb Goat Media Network. Once again, there's not that much independent metal and rock journalism left anymore. We are one of the last ones standing. Shout out to my homie and partner, Craig Caruso of Caruso Apps. If you've got a web-based business and a website, you need Craig. We're on StreamYard everywhere but TikTok. I think eventually we're going to go to Riverside. What up, Q? Q is here. Good to see you, pal. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're just doing a late night show. I barely slept last night, and I am up late tonight. So when I get done with this show, I'm going to bed. The rest of the news rundown is as follows. You know, I'm a pretty cynical guy. Like I said, I have a right to be cynical. Yeah, Anthony, on TikTok, give us some song recommendations. Deep Purple reunited for one song last night with Richie Blackmore. Unbelievable. I would have never bet my life or anything else on that. I'm God by Clams Casino. Killer. I will check it out, man. Deep Purple. Alejandro asked about this earlier. Yeah, man, just wild. I know Richie lives in Long Island with his wife. Yeah, I like all kinds of music. I don't only listen to rock and metal. I mainly listen to rock and metal. But I have taste buds that have a whole bunch of things. Dolly has joined. I hope you are named for Dolly Parton. Or Hello, Dolly, the musical. But yeah, Richie, I don't know about this picture of Ian Gillan touching his guitar, but like it seemed like genuine, respectful, nice. I know that Richie's, you know, maybe all these guys are pushing 80. Ian has complained about his health and saying that he can't, you know, do this shit anymore, basically. And so it was really nice for Richie, you know, let's bury the hatchet and get out there and play a song together, which I thought was rather nice. And there's a picture of them the next day, and they were like, it was really lovely to have Richie come out, and it was great to see him. We hadn't seen him in many years, and it was all love. So it was cool. Very, very cool. More drama with Sid from Slipknot. So the last couple of weeks, we got a report from TMZ, which somehow is reputable now, that Sid, they had it on authority that Sid was kicked out of Slipknot. The band hasn't really commented except one vague comment, vague post from Jim Root. Sid was at an appearance this last weekend where he said he's still a member of Slipknot, but you know, there's a lot of credible evidence that he is not in the band anymore. And then I know Kelly Osbourne, who shares a child with Sid, raked him over the coals on some social posting and then deleted them. So this is a lot of dumb drama. Somebody from the camp of the band ought to really come forward and say he's in the band or he's not. If he's out, that just leaves Clown from the original group since Paul Gray and Joey Jordison passed away. So very sad if that's true. I'm not rooting against Sid. I don't care about drama. I don't do this for clickbait. I'm just talking about the stories. And there's Sid and Kelly in happier times, not lately. Again, still very devastated about the layoffs from Brooklyn Vegan, Revolver, Goldmine, which I grew up with, as well as Revolver. and Alternative Press. These are websites that cared about metal and rock, really did thoughtful journalism, interviewed bands, wrote a lot of thoughtful reviews, sold a lot of cool merch and vinyl, and just really sad. Oh, Kevin, for no more REO Speedwagon. I know. I mean, I would hate to be an REO Speedwagon or Journey. I personally don't like Journey. I know a lot of people love the band. Personally, I've never been a fan of that band. In fact, I hate them. When I hosted karaoke for a long time in San Francisco, I used to charge people extra if they wanted to sing Don't Stop Believin' or Separate Ways or Wheel in the Sky. I'm not saying they're not a good band. They're a great band, but I just hate them. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a band with fucking Jonathan Cain for any reason. He seems like a terrible person, and Kevin is also not a great person. But there's a lot of bands out there with no original members or one original member who own the name, and nobody else can be that band. Wild. Mastodon dropped a new song, the debut track off their new album Marrow Deep, coming out in 2 weeks. In the Ruins is out now. You can check it out on our site. You can check it out on all of Mastodon's socials. You can pre-order the record. I'm really excited. This is probably my most anticipated album beside Anthrax the rest of the year. Chat Pile, another big one, dropped another new single and a video. Their new album's coming soon. Very excited for that. Ministry's supposed final album is coming out soon, and the fan base is not okay. They are very unhappy because originally, for a long time, this final Ministry album called Hate to Go was billed as Al Jorgensen and Paul Barker coming back to the band. It is now only apparent that Paul is on the final track, not the rest of the album. So people are losing their shit. Yeah, man. I mean, you already know. And I live in the Bay Area. So not only every bar I've ever been to with drunk white chicks want to sing Don't Stop Believin', and everybody thinks they're a small town girl. You're not. And again, probably a great band that I just can't fucking get into. And, that's my shit. Anyway, I would hate to be in a band with John and Neill is probably cool. I think Neill is probably a cool guy, but Jonathan Cain seems horrible. And I feel bad for Arnel Pineda. He's got a great voice and he seems like a really sensitive and nice guy. Team Dretch is got a new album coming out. They are really one of the great queer punk rock bands of all time. I got to see them a few years back, play a series of shows opening for Jawbreaker. I'm quite a fan. They've been around for 35, 40 years. So killer new album called Furthermore, which I think is a cool name if you're nerdy like me and you like word puns. Chaz Champion 33 is here. Trey Drums is here. Wizardry Fuggard 42. Welcome. This is really cool. Lustmore Lombardo is a new project from the magical duo of Dave Lombardo, formerly of Slayer and Suicidal Tendencies, and Lustmore, great producer and synth artist. Really cool first track. You can get that's coming out on Ipecac Records, which is kind of the home for all of Lombardo's own records. Really cool stuff. I just wanted to shout out this book that I finished, Blow by Blow, the Jeff Beck story. It's written by current Guitar World writers Chris Gill and Brad Talinsky. Brad also founded Revolver in 1988. And I grew up loving Jeff Beck as a guitar player, and it's really eye-opening how incredible he was. So many cool things he did that don't even get ever really talked about. Jenny is here. What's up, Jenny? And Lucy Lucid is here also. And Imze B is here. Thanks for being here. Also coming out with a book, a lot of book news because the fall publishing schedule is out. Jane Weedland is coming out with a memoir. I believe she has another book that she put out a few years ago about how to be a dominatrix, but big Go-Go's fan, and I love Jane Weedland. Just incredible artist. This documentary is coming out soon, If These Walls Could Rock, about one of the famous Sunset Strip hotels in the rock era, 60s, 70s, 80s. OTEP has made a return to music, but not doing new metal or rap metal. kind of trip hop and rap. Brand new song's a banger. I'm a big fan of OTEP. I don't know if you guys seen my interview with OTEP a few years back for their final album as a new metal artist. Kind of broke the internet. Really cool stuff. I'm always going to support OTEP. They pop up in video games and movie soundtracks and special effects things. So just generally, glad they took a big break to support their own mental health. And I can't say that I blame them. Fighting with idiots online is something I'm no stranger to, and I have to do it all the time, and I hate it. I certainly wouldn't want to walk a mile in their shoes. But I respect the artistic integrity and the hustle. Also, Stray Cats, the legendary rockabilly and punk rockers, are going to be on The Tonight Show next week. Very exciting. They are on tour right now, and they booked a bunch of more tour dates coming up soon, so super cool. Kiss is having a week. They are releasing their 1976 concert, Kiss Destroys Anaheim. I grew up loving Kiss, and I mentioned earlier in the show, Kiss is a big topic on our other podcast this week, the Glacially Musical Podcast. But Kiss is putting out a record version of Kiss Destroys Anaheim, and Gene and Paul are going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Anaheim A's game, A's game on Saturday. So that's kind of fun. I don't know why this week Disney put out a bunch of merch that looks like metal merch, and then Ariana Grande put out a bunch of shirts and merch that look like hardcore shirts. It's just weird. I don't know, metal and punk bands don't put out pop-looking stuff. Sometimes they do. But anyway, Ariana Grande, hardcore-looking shirts. Cool. This looks fucking awesome. This is a possible new group with Eric Gales, Billy Sheehan, and Dennis Chambers. Like some of the greatest players of all time are going to come up with a new band. And the musical cue here is Cactus Backdoor Man, which is a new cover they just put out. But just really fun. Really fun that they did this. I'm into it. Another book coming out is another memoir by Alice Cooper, and this is supposed to detail his descent into drugs and madness. Travis is here, Fight Club, Bass is here. Tiffany Pink Belt is here, Morgan, Grayman, Trey Drums, M. Davidson, Q. A lot of people hanging out on Friday morning, overnight. Me here, you there. This was a little bit of a surprise also. This is a Reverend Mean Tooth. I just want to give a shout out to my man, Tom Jordan. I usually wear or talk about 20 Watt Tombstone. Reverend Mean Tooth is his other band that he has some solo shows coming up this weekend. He played one last night. These are all local to him in Wisconsin. Big fan of Reverend Mean Tooth and 20 Watt Tombstone. Give some love and support out there to people just working hard and playing their music for the love of it. Alicia is also here. Dalef Castillo is here. What's up? I'm real stoked about this. So this is a brand new, or not brand new, but an up-and-coming symphonic black metal band from Helsinki, Venenum Day. Tortured Prayers is the new EP. I will be doing a review of this next week on the site and maybe on a live stream too. Super excited about this project. They are playing this full EP in concert this weekend in Helsinki, I believe. Judas Priest is doing an original 50th anniversary. It's the 50th anniversary of Iron Maiden as a band. It's the 52nd anniversary of Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny, original masters on Solar Flare vinyl. I might get this. Gradients is a duo from Denmark that does sort of atmospheric underground metal. That they have signed to Metal Blade Records to put out their next record. Got some new music from them this week. What else? I don't normally talk about stuff like this, but Surge, Tonkian, System of a Down just finished like their statistically biggest tour ever. They're doing stadiums across Europe with Queens of the Stone Age and Acid Bath. Incredible. And Surge gave an interview where he was asked about John Mayan being a big Trump guy, and now John is so dismayed with Trump that he's not a Trump fan anymore. I only mention it, again, I don't care about clickbait or, I accept that a lot of these 100 millionaires and multi-millionaires are probably not working class liberal people like I am. And they're all pretty bad, all the politicians. But Moyen particularly used to like double down and attack his own fans because he was right wing and they were lefty. And then of course Darren is like, I'm in down the middle, like whatever, bro. You can't be. I guess you can't be. And then again, Anthrax dropped a new single this week. Once again, their new album is coming out in a little over a month. I am so excited. Their first album in 10 years, Cursum Perficio. That'll be, they're doing a signing. Yo, Robbie is here. What up, brother? Late Night Keefe here, doing the overnight show, the overnight shift. Lots going on with everything. But yeah, super stoked for the new Anthrax, super stoked for the new Hippie Death Cult, super stoked for a whole lot. Melvins were apparently a question on Jeopardy this week. Melvins were pioneers of this sound that put bands like Pearl Jam, but not Melvins, into the stratosphere. Sludge metal, doom. So dumb. Kind of a dumb question, but okay. All right. That is all the news. Now we have a few sections left of the show before I pack it in and go to sleep. The Ask Clown of the Week is a new section of the show that I have, a new segment. And I got to talk about Southpaw, FL, hardcore. I have rarely seen a band fuck their career up as bad as these guys. And I have rarely seen a bunch of boomer, white, 55 to 65-year-old ex-hardcore guys defend these dudes who basically promoted a Nazi merch brand. They have a brand new album out on Spine Farm, one of the biggest labels. Their drummer was seen sporting like a Nazi shirt. They tagged the Nazi record label and merch company the shirt comes from. And, look, like, again, I know I don't expect everybody to believe the same things I believe, but, like, I remember when punks used to just beat the shit out of Nazis. And real hardcore punks, true punks, would never tolerate fascism or fascist beliefs or fascistic people. It's not about conform to what I want you to conform to. These things are diametrically opposed to punk and metal. From what I know, they canceled their whole tour. They're getting dropped from their label. And it's pretty dire for them. They fucked their whole career up for some stupid shit that is not worth co-signing. And a lot of people are doubling down. A lot of people are doubling down. So just, sort your shit out before you, just don't be a Nazi. It's that simple. We don't have room for you here. Everybody else is welcome. No Nazis. All right. That means it's time for New Music Friday, followed by the mailbag, and then we have the end of the show. I am going to read this week's New Music Friday albums coming out this weekend. Tell me if any of these float your boat. If you're excited about some of this stuff, let me know. I'm going to give you a band name, album name, label if they have one, and what genre. The Absolution Sequence, Dread Cycle, self-released for some death metal. Abyssal Rift, great band. Relics of Great Ash on Transcending Obscurity Records for some death metal. Autopsy Mental Funeral, 35th anniversary edition on Peaceville Records. Coyote Man, Prosthetic Memories, self-released for some avant-garde music. Cutthroat, The Purge EP on M3 Recordings for some metal, thrash metal. Dead Tired, Hornets of the Fall on New Damage record for some punk. 2 Descendants classics are getting a reissue. I've been getting the Descendants reissues a lot this last couple of years. All re-release and Livage re-release on Org Music. Org Music is awesome. They have Descendants, they have Cramps, they have Bad Brains. Dissection, Rain Chaos re-release on Darkness Shall Rise Records. Evil Island, Terraform the Afterlife on Blowed Out Records for some crossover thrash. Glue, Ponyboy EP on FLG Records. Iron Flame, Worlds to Conquer on High Roller Records for some heavy metal. Living Weapon, this is a killer math rock band like Dillinger Escape Plan. Death in the Family on Closed Casket Activities. We ran a review of that today. Nestor live at Gothenburg Film Studios for Napalm Records for some heavy metal. Only Echoes, Born Adrift on Brayburn Records for some death metal. Raunchy, Prisoner for some heavy metal on Mighty Music. Soul Grind and Pulcram Mortem on Inverse Records for some death metal. Storm Force, Truth on Brave Words Records for some heavy metal. And various artists sending hearts to all my dearies, a tribute to Smashing Pumpkins on Sumerian Records. And now it is time for the mailbag, and then I'm going to bed. So mailbag this week is I got the brand new reissue, and I will embiggen myself. I got the brand new reissue of The More Things Change by Machine Head. This is their classic second album that came out in 1996. Influenced so many killer bands that came after them: System of a Down, Slipknot, Mudvayne, a lot of bands, Tuned Down to A. Maybe only Fear Factory and Machine Head were really tuning this low and playing this much uncompromising extreme metal. So here's the front cover with the beautiful gatefold. I had this on CD. This has never been on vinyl before, so I'm super stoked to have it. There's a really cool lyric sheet in here. There's probably some of Rob Flynn's just absolute banger lyrics, banger town lyrics. And even though I normally try to get the fancy colored vinyl, here's your back cover, picture of Logan Mader, formerly of Machine Head. It is the 180-gram black vinyl, but I just want to shout out whenever, do not put your vinyl records in paper sleeves. You want to get either the paper with the Mylar or the just Mylar. And we always have links where you can buy Mylar sleeves from us too. And another way to help support the pod and the show and the channel and the website. So yeah, Machine Head, man, I've been trying to get this on vinyl. I've been hoping it would come out. I know there's a Unto the Locust reissue coming soon, so a lot of anniversary stuff coming out from Machine Head. I think for Burn My Eyes 32nd anniversary, they put out like $1,000 brushed bronze skull rings that were like custom made by some incredible jeweler guy. So shout out to Machine Head. They're always killing the game with their merch. And Dr. Anculus here. What's up? Oh, thanks, man. Millennium Falcon. And also Metallica Ride the Lightning at the same time. Thank you so much, Undercover Fed Guy. Mr. Crawling is also here. Yeah, man. Anybody following us, thanks for being here, man. I did a 55-minute show about metal at 2 in the morning, 1:30, 2 in the morning Pacific time. Thanks, everybody, for watching. That's our show. As usual, we'll be here all weekend with news and social posts and all the things. And we'll be back next week with interviews with bands and festival coverage and breaking news and analysis and all these things. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Monofrica's here. Missy Root is here. Alicia Cashcar. Thanks again for being here and tuning in. You could spend your time with anybody, but you spent it here with me. I'm really appreciative because we are trying to stay DIY and not go the way of the dodo. So as I say every week, this juncture of the show is a tough time in the world. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay as metal as humanly possible. And see you on the next one. Great weekend. Don't drink and drive. Peace.